What's happening, people? All praise be to the Most High God. The Most High God comes first. And I'm WattUNeed. You watch my channel. If you like what you're seeing, you can like, share, subscribe. This stream is brought to you by L.I.V.E products. L.I.V.E, live now. We're live now. I have my last bottle of L.I.V.E nuts. If you guys want it, it's $20. That's if you live in the Trinidad and Tobago area. All right, let's get into it. I just wanted to talk about Terrence Crawford's status in boxing in terms of all time, and boxing in terms of currently in this era. I don't think people understand. And so in the Ariel Helwani show, for example, Ariel Helwani brings up a UFC boxer whose name I don't even remember right now, who's trying to, get a fight with Terrence Crawford. So he's picking apart Terrence Crawford, talking all kinds of things about him. And Terrence Crawford says, I don't even know this guy. And the guy's like, well, he's one of the great fighters in UFC. He's kind of like, when Floyd fought Conor McGregor. And Terrence Crawford stopped him right there. He said, ah! He said to him, listen. I know who Conor McGregor was. And I followed UFC, and I know all the fights. And there's no way this guy you're mentioning to me is anywhere on the level of a Conor McGregor. Excuse me for a second. Oh, shit. Right. There's no way that guy is even on the level of a Conor McGregor. You know what I'm saying? And I'll make it Morby. And so, we shouldn't even be having this conversation. He said, all right. The guy's like, he's one of the top fighters in UFC. He said, okay, does he pay more than Canelo Alvarez? He was like, no. He said, okay, does he pay near, would I get a payday something near to what Canelo got? He's like, no. He said, well, come on now. Come on now. You see, Ariel Helwani doesn't understand that he's speaking to the face of boxing now. Terrence Crawford is the face of boxing. Terrence Crawford is the cash cow in boxing. Remember when Floyd Mayweather beat Oscar De La Hoya? At the time, let me show you how big this is, because I think a lot of you don't understand how big this is, right? Oscar De La Hoya was the cash cow in boxing. He was probably the third best super welterweight at the time, right? Floyd always wanted to fight Oscar. Oscar wasn't on any pound-for-pound list at the time. Crawford beat one of the top 5 pound-for-pound boxers in the world today, in Canelo Alvarez. He was undisputed. He was the number 1. He was a lineal champion at 168. He was the cash cow. He was the face of boxing. Canelo was one of the face of. He was the face of boxing. Canelo Alvarez was the face of boxing. The kind of money that Canelo got for the Terrence Crawford fight, $150 million. No other boxer's getting that kind of money. Even the heavyweights, Tyson Fury ain't get that kind of money. Okay? Canelo was the cash cow of boxing. He's still going to be a cash cow because he got country behind him. So whatever Canelo does, if he chooses to fight on, he's going to be a cash cow. And the resume of Canelo is just fucking ridiculous. The best of the best is on that resume. Okay? Y'all can't knock Canelo's resume. Y'all can knock, but I thought Errison Andy Lara beat him, and you could say what you want. Let me tell you something, by the way. I'm a Canelo fan. All right? And y'all ain't gonna slight me. I know there's some of you out there were mad that Canelo beat Triple G. And y'all was hating on Canelo ever since. I know. Canelo beat your favorite fighter. Triple G was this destructive machine. He was a monster. And then little old ass Canelo outboxed his ass in the very first fight. That fight wasn't close. Canelo beat Triple G. Y'all keep on going with this stupid ass narrative that Triple G beat Canelo. How the fuck did he beat Canelo? He out-jabbed him. He didn't do shit to Canelo. Canelo's face was clean after the end of the fight. Triple G's face was looking red. Triple G lost that first fight. It wasn't no draw. And y'all say that Errison Lara beat Canelo. All those body shots that Canelo was landing on Erislandy Lara. Okay, Erislandy Lara dominated the first 4 rounds. He pot shot Canelo at certain points with sniper accurate shots to the head. Canelo had a little blue eye. He busted Erislandy Lara's eye with an uppercut. And he was beating that boy blue. The boy even collapsed in the corner of the ring. He supposedly slipped in the corner of the ring, running away from Canelo. Get the fuck out of here, man. Lara never beat Canelo. It was a close fight. Canelo had to come from behind to win. Erislandy Lara and what's this other guy's name? Austin Trout did not beat Canelo. Now, I do agree that a judge's scorecard in the Canelo versus Lara fight was way off. There was one judge who had a scorecard that was just way off. And in the Austin Trout versus Canelo fight, I do agree that the scorecards were way too wide. All right? They were way too wide. But Canelo beat Austin Trout, man. You have to count the knockdown. And yeah, he didn't do a whole lot later on in the fight when Austin Trout was throwing all them shots. But Austin Trout was throwing a lot of jabs, a lot of shots, and Canelo would counter his ass. Canelo be the one landing the one punch that was significant in the round. Trout wasn't hitting nothing. Canelo was using his defense, and Trout couldn't hit him. So, I mean, he was having fun in there. I'm sort of shocked that, y'all try to bring up Erislandy Lara like Erislandy Lara did something with Canelo. He didn't do nothing with Canelo. He had a great first 4 rounds. And then sporadically throughout the fight, he was sniping Canelo as Canelo tried to close the distance. But Canelo was landing a lot, and more as the fight went on, Canelo kept on landing more and more body shots. Okay? He won that fight. He won the Austin Trout fight. He won the Erislandy Lara fight. Y'all got to give the guy his props, man. Y'all hating on this dude. Now, did he face Demetrius Andrade? No. Did he finally face Jermell Charlo, the guy he was supposed to face? All right. But of course, he had a weight advantage on Jermell Charlo, and Jermell Charlo wasn't ready for him. He was still moving around the ring, eluding a lot of Canelo's punches, but eventually, when he engaged with Canelo, he got dropped. And Canelo beat him, right? And I thought Mel was going to beat him. The other brother, the bigger brother, Jamal, he keep on bucking. He never wanted to face Canelo. Because when he saw what Canelo accomplished, he had respect for Canelo. Canelo went up to 175. Just a 154-pounder. Went all the way up to 175. No other, and don't tell me if they got the opportunity to do it. No, we know this now. We know that. Maul would never have done that stuff. Now looking in retrospect, Maul is now going up to 168. Maul's the bigger of the two Charlos. Mel scolded Maul for not facing Canelo, saying, "You ducked, son. You were ducking." It was up. Mel faced Canelo. He came up from 154 and faced Canelo. Maul had the opportunity to face Canelo multiple times. Never took it. Mel was the one with the guts. And then Mel turned around and said, "Man, Canelo hit hella hard. He hit hella hard." Okay. All right. So we're not going to talk about Canelo like he's some punk or he's some ducker or he faded. Canelo fought a really excellent fight. He prepared for the fight. Okay, we know what Canelo's problem is. Canelo have all the tools in the tool bag except for active feet all the time. And even then, Terence Crawford stood in front of him and outplayed him. Stood right in front of him and outplayed him. Okay? Because Crawford is not Jermell Charlo. Crawford is not Jamal Charlo. He's different. So we're not going to do that. We're not going to do, and by the way, Jermell Charlo is one of the better Charlos. Maul's not a guy like Mel. Mel's better than Maul in terms of desire to win and all these other things and taking opportunities. All right? So we're not going to do that. We're not going to diminish Errol Spence either. And we're not going to make excuses for Errol Spence. Oh, he was in a car accident. If he was in a car accident, how come he destroyed Ugas and broke his eye orbital? How come he beat Danny Garcia the convincing way he did? No, we're not going to do that. We're not going to do that. We're not going to do that. So Terrence Crawford's win over Canelo leaves Canelo without any excuses. He can't say that he wasn't experienced. He can't say that he didn't have experience fighting greater champions. He can't say that he didn't improve in his boxing, because his excuse with Floyd is, oh, I was inexperienced. I was too young. Right? He got no excuses. None. Y'all have none. Him saying that Canelo, that Crawford is better than Floyd really don't say nothing. Don't say nothing. Because Crawford come from the same school as Floyd. Bivol come from the same school as Floyd. Bivol more basic, He don't got all them tremendous special effects, but he's clever. All right? Canelo said Bivol was too big. No, homie. Don't even try that. Now, having said that, Canelo has beaten fighters who have good footwork and who can sort of beat him to the punch and get around him. His body punching usually slows these fighters down, and he's clever with it. He landed body punches on Caleb Plant, who I thought was going to beat Canelo. I'm telling you these things so you will understand there are elements to Canelo's game. You have to be on another plane to beat Canelo. It's not just movement. So Erislandy Lara, no, he did not beat Canelo. Movement is not all, and he moved excessively too, right? You got to do other things, right? Caleb Plant, he had the idea, but Canelo was still softening into the body. He would hyperextend his arm and hit him with them spleen shots, slow him down just enough to start landing those body shots. And I think that the round before, round 10, before round 11, when he stopped him, he hit him with a body shot. Caleb Plant will tell you that. He said he was still feeling the effects of that body shot. Okay? And Canelo does punch hard. He didn't punch hard with Terrence Crawford because he's trying to find him. He couldn't find him. And Terrence Crawford kept on keeping it. Every time Canelo shoot a shot, Terrence would ride it a little bit, catch it a little bit with his elbows or with his guard, and then he'd come back with something. So Canelo was like, you see, the thing is, you got to make them miss and make them pay. And Terrence was making Canelo pay like Floyd made him pay. So he was hesitant to put full steam on it. He just wanted to make sure he could place the punch, which is why Terrence will tell you, I didn't really feel his power. Because Canelo was busy trying to find the target first and land on the target and really put full leverage into it. Because he knows something coming back. And he didn't like what was coming back. All right? So y'all don't understand. Floyd, Bivol, and Terrence had to fight Canelo in the pocket. You have to do some pocket fighting with Canelo. You have to be able to trade with him. But you have to be able to win the trades with him. Things in common with Bivol, Floyd, and Terrence. They always in the pocket won trades and countered Canelo. They keep the defense tight and then they counter Canelo. And he back off because he thought he was the counterpuncher. But when you counter the counter of a counterpuncher, they become more hesitant. Especially if you're winning those trades and you're keeping your defense tight so you can handle their power. Canelo tried to sometimes overwhelm you with his power, or he tried to set you up and then come with that power shot. That's what he did with Jamel. He tricked him. He was going to the body. Jamel pulled his hand down to go to the body and shoot it straight. He was whipping the right hand. He was hooking the right hand into Jamel. So Jamel opened his guard to protect against the right hand, and then he came straight up the center. But he couldn't do that with Crawford. When he tried to do that and come up the center, Crawford already dipped to the side and then came up with his left hand. Came right up, dipped up the side and then came up with his left hand and countered him. So Canelo realized, oh shit, I can't even set him up like that. Y'all, boxing is a thinking man's sport. Okay? And so the Ariel Elwani show, y'all need to understand. Ariel Elwani, you need to understand, man. You talking to the cash cow of boxing. You're not just talking to anybody anymore. He don't have to say shit. That's why Terrence Crawford said, you got to make dollars and make sense now. I'm at the end of my career. I'm at the top of the game. I'm at the top of boxing now, right? Everybody going to be chirping and wanting to have a fight with me because I'm the cash cow now. Canelo's no longer the cash cow. He's still going to be a cash cow. Anytime Canelo show up, a whole set of Canelo fans going to go to see what it is. And let me say something about Canelo, because I didn't even talk about that. Canelo just need to take a fight that will redeem him, whether it's against Demetrius Andrade, whether it's against David Benavidez. He need to whoop some ass. He need to whoop her ass to gain back that confidence. You've been in there with Floyd Mayweather. You've been in there with Dimitri Bivol. You need to take a test to pass that final test. That final test could be Demetrius Andrade, or you could go up and weight to 175 and fight David Benavidez. They are younger, but well, David Benavidez is a young buck. Demetrius Andrade is a contemporary like you at 168. He's a master boxer too. David Benavidez beat him, so he's beatable. So the question is going to be which one you pick. Respect either way, whether it's Andrade or it's Benavidez. Benavidez is undefeated, so of course that's the tougher fight, and that's the fight you. I mean, I think I still have Canelo beating David Benavidez. That's my opinion. Of course, I could be wrong, you know. But between the two, the one that's going to come to Canelo so he could use his counterpunching skills is David Benavidez. Now, David Benavidez is getting a better and better jab. He's a better and better fighter. It'll be a hell of a fight, though. You know. At 175, it'll be. That's up to Canelo. That's up to Canelo. You know, you beat David Benavidez, you show us again you are a Hall of Fame fighter. I'm hearing that Canelo wants to retire. That's just feelings, I think. I think he's just feeling that way because everything he tried in that fight, he was defeated with. Crawford seemed to have an answer for everything he had. But you don't meet Terrence Crawfords every day. You don't meet Bivols every day. You know? And I don't think you would have a problem with David Benavidez. He would be looking for the smoke with you. You know what I'm saying? So that would be interesting. Or a Demetrius Andrade fight. Or you have a farewell fight and you go into you ride off into the sunset. You've made tons of money in the sport of boxing. And if the desire is not there like before, just ride out. You know what I'm saying? But Canelo can say that he faced the greatest boxers of his era. From Floyd. The only one he didn't face was Pacquiao. Now, with respect to, shout out to Terrence Crawford, man. Shout out to Truth and Facts Sports Talk. Truth. He said, pump the brakes. Crawford isn't better than Floyd. Okay, I'm going to say this. I'm going to put this in context for y'all. Manny Pacquiao, before he faced Floyd Mayweather, he was in the same company as Terrence Crawford. He was in Top Rank. And if I'm not mistaken, Terrence Crawford had become undisputed 140-pound champion, while Manny Pacquiao was, I believe, WBO welterweight champion. I could be wrong, but I think that's where we were at. And instead of Top Rank arranging, because Terrence Crawford wanted that fight, instead of Top Rank and Bob Arum arranging for Manny Pacquiao to face Terrence Crawford at welterweight, it may have been in a catchweight or at welterweight, for the WBO title, they let Manny Pacquiao face Jeff Horn, was an up-and-coming, rising, undefeated fighter who was associated with Top Rank as well. The reason behind that was Bob Arum did not want Manny Pacquiao. He was afraid that Manny Pacquiao would get badly hurt if he faced Terence Crawford, because Bob Arum obviously knew what Terence Crawford was. Now, let me ask you guys this question. Floyd Mayweather faced Manny Pacquiao. Floyd Mayweather didn't knock out Manny Pacquiao. Floyd Mayweather didn't hurt severely Manny Pacquiao. Why do you think Bob Arum was so concerned about Terence Crawford facing Manny Pacquiao? I'm going to tell you why. And why I'm going to make this argument of why Terence Crawford is better than Floyd Mayweather. In fact, I would argue, and a lot of y'all will not like my argument, but I'm going to tell you it as it is. I'm not a hater or anything. I just love boxing. Why Terence Crawford would beat Floyd Mayweather if they ever fought each other. Bob Arum withheld Manny Pacquiao from Terence Crawford, a blatant duck. Even though Terence Crawford was qualified, the man was undisputed. If he wasn't undisputed, he was unified. I can't remember which one it was. Terence Crawford wanted that fight. Bob Arum stopped that fight from happening. Well, you know why? Because Bob Arum knows Terence Crawford would have knocked the fuck out of Manny Pacquiao. He would have knocked his ass out. He would have knocked out Manny Pacquiao. Bob Arum knew what kind of fighter he had. Something that Floyd in 2015 did not do. Because Bob Arum knew Terence Crawford was a bad motherfucker. So when the truth tells me to pump the brakes, Crawford isn't better than Floyd, I can't do that. I'm sorry. I know what I see. Y'all didn't like me when I said Floyd would beat Sugar Ray Leonard's ass. Y'all didn't like me when I said Sugar Ray Leonard would beat the great Sugar Ray Robinson's ass. He'd beat it. Guess who one of Terence Crawford's great, best fighters in the world is? The fighter he loves so much, Floyd Mayweather. He loved Floyd. He loved other boxers, but he loved Floyd. Let me tell you something. You think that Terence Crawford don't love Canelo Alvarez? He loved Canelo Alvarez. And when a boxer loves another boxer, that means that they like the attributes. They like the fighting style of that boxer. They borrow things from that. When you love a fighter so much, Rocky Marciano, he loved Joe Louis. He loved him. You know when you get the nastiest ass whoopings? When a fighter loves, admires, respects another fighter. You think Floyd don't love Sugar Ray Leonard? He loves Sugar Ray. Man, he would have whooped that ass. He would have beat Sugar Ray Leonard. He would have beat that ass. He'd have do a Terry Norris on Sugar Ray Leonard. Terry Norris loves Sugar Ray Leonard, y'all. Terry Norris loved Sugar Ray. Sugar Ray Leonard was one of his mentors, he tore up that ass. Is Terence Crawford better than Floyd Mayweather? Not in terms of resume. Of course, Floyd fought many great fighters in his era. All the greatest fighters, all the greatest, not great, the greatest fighters of his era, he has fought. And y'all like to make these stupid arguments. Oh, he fought them late. He cherry-picked the times when he fought them and all kinds of shit. Do you know that cherry picks go wrong? First of all, let's start with that. You think it's easy to be undefeated in boxing? You go and you cherry pick somebody, and usually the cherry pick backfires. You know why? You know why? Because you try to do it the easy way. Floyd never tried to do nothing the easy way. He never duck or dodge nobody in boxing. Period. He's like Andre Ward. He's like Terence Crawford. But he was the cash cow of boxing, like Canelo was the cash cow of boxing, like Oscar De La Hoya was the cash cow of boxing. So yeah, he gonna say, okay, this fight I want, and this fight I don't want, and this fight I want. He get to choose. Now Terence Crawford is in Floyd Mayweather's shoes. For a brief moment in time, Keith Thurman was in Floyd Mayweather's shoes. That's a rare thing, man. Sugar Ray Robinson used to pick what fights he want to fight. And if you didn't pay him right, he ain't fighting the fights. Why y'all don't talk about that? Y'all talk about the great Sugar Ray Robinson and blah, 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 blah. He had the same attitude as Floyd. He had the same attitude as Canelo. He picked and chose who he never fought Charlie Burley, y'all. He never fought Charlie Burley. He pick and choose. Okay? He pick and choose. He pick and choose. You dig? So y'all need to understand how boxing work. If you the top king of the hill, if you're the king of the hill, now you gets to pick and choose who is your worthy contender. But if you look at who Floyd pick and choose to be the worthy contender, he chose Shane Mosley. Now Shane Mosley came up to him and said, "Hey man, well, let's have that fight." Pacquiao didn't want nothing to do with Shane Mosley at that time. When Shane Mosley was the number one pound for pound fighter not pound for pound, sorry, number one welterweight in the world after beating the brakes off Antonio Margarito, that cheater. After they beat the brakes off Antonio Margarito, he was the number one welterweight in the world. Ain't nobody wanted to face him. Nobody wanted to face him. Berto stepped up to the plate to face him, and then Berto had to go down in Haiti and deal with the earthquake in 2010. So Mosley ain't got nobody. Berto was the WBC champion at the time. He was ready to rumble with Shane Mosley. Mosley had to find somebody. Nobody wanted to smoke with Mosley. So Mosley, he after Floyd beat Marquez, Mosley showed up in the post-fight thing and I saying, "Hey, let's have this fight." And then Bernard Hopkins egg on the whole thing and starting to throw words at Floyd and shit. And Floyd was that don't disrespect me on this. He ended up facing Shane Mosley because the negotiations with Pacquiao fell through. Aaron wasn't gonna give him Pacquiao with all that drug testing going on. He knew that Pacquiao was on the juice. He knew Pacquiao was on the juice. Crawford to this day don't put Pacquiao in the top in top tier boxers. He don't put Pacquiao over Canelo, and he shouldn't. He shouldn't put Pacquiao over Canelo. And Pacquiao's more accomplished. There was a time when Canelo offered to face Pacquiao, and Pacquiao said, "You got to come down to welterweight." And Canelo was a super welterweight. And Canelo was like, "Hell no, that ain't happening. I might do a catchweight with you, but we ain't going down to welterweight." You know what I'm saying? So, if Canelo could, he would face Pacquiao. He offered. You know how many offers Pacquiao turned down? He turned down Floyd. He turned down Mosley. He turned down Canelo. He turned down Marquez, who wanted to fight with him after Marquez had become lightweight champion of the world. Marquez was calling out Pacquiao for a fight. Pacquiao turned that down. And Marquez was pound for pound number 2 fighter in the world when he came and fought Floyd instead. Pacquiao turned down another fight with Marquez. Floyd ended up facing Marquez. Pacquiao turned down the fight with Shane Mosley. Floyd ended up fighting Shane Mosley. These are things y'all don't know, man. So Floyd pick and choose his fights. Pacquiao wanted Miguel Cotto to come down to 147 and fight him when Miguel Cotto was at 154. Miguel says, "Fuck no, that ain't happening." Floyd ended up facing Cotto. Y'all don't know the story, man. Y'all just, I don't know what's wrong with y'all, man. So any bullshit about Mayweather pick and choose his fights. Then I heard Max Kellerman again trying to throw digs at Floyd Mayweather, talking about when he fought Canelo, he was, Canelo wasn't at the full weight. So therefore Floyd wasn't a lineal champion. What this dumbass motherfucker don't know is Floyd was lineal champion after he beat Miguel Cotto at 154. The lineal champion in that division was Floyd, not Canelo. Canelo's never been a lineal champion at 154. He was the WBC, WBA unified champion, but he was the regular champion. Floyd was the super champion. See, Max Kellerman don't know shit. He talk, but he don't know. Max the asshole Kellerman. I don't know why they brought him back. Because this motherfucker have an issue with Floyd. And I know haters of Floyd will say, oh, yeah, Crawford's better than Floyd because you hate Floyd. I'm not talking about y'all assholes. I'm talking straight from a perspective of boxing. And in a perspective of boxing, Floyd Mayweather, Terence Crawford is better than Floyd Mayweather. Okay? I'm not talking about resume. Floyd has a better resume than Terence Crawford. All right? I'm not talking about I'm not talking about in terms of you know in terms of IQ. I think Floyd has more experience, and I think he has a high IQ. Okay, a higher, maybe even a higher IQ than Terence Crawford. But having said all of that, Terence Crawford, the skills that he brings to the table. Think of Floyd Mayweather. I know Terence and Floyd don't fight the same kind of way, but they have similar things they utilize and different looks and all of that. But think of this. Floyd Mayweather without broken hands, and he can switch stances. That's what you're looking at. Now, I know they don't have the same style, but I'm just saying what is brought to the table skill-wise. Terence Crawford has more skills than Floyd Mayweather, which means he has more options than Floyd Mayweather. And Floyd is sneaky and he's savvy and all of that, and he's going to teach Terence Crawford certain things in that ring. But I think Terence Crawford has that added element of he can switch. He can switch one way or the other. And that's what makes him kind of brilliant. And y'all would say, well, Sugar Ray Leonard used to switch. And yeah, but Sugar Ray Leonard don't have certain nuances and certain things. Crawford do some rubbery shit. Like I said, his punches, he can whip a punch and it can come in at an upward angle. If you look at Floyd versus Marcus Maidana, for instance, when Marcus Maidana was doing the overhand right, that looping kind of in between kind of shot, rubbery shit, that Crawford do all that kind of shit. So I could see Floyd getting hit with that shit, and then he adjusts. He adjusts for it. He makes an adjustment, and Crawford, he neutralizes that. But I'm just saying, though, that's not no easy fight for Floyd. I'm telling you right now. Floyd versus Pernell Whitaker is not an easy fight either. Right? But I got Floyd beating Pernell. Pernell was almost unbeatable going backwards in that circle. But I'm sure if anybody could crack that code, it would be Floyd. And with respect to Crawford and Floyd, it's the same thing. Floyd is pretty much unbeatable when he's doing his thing with his counterpunching and his defense is so on point and everything. I mean, you could throw a barrage of shots. I could see Crawford throwing a whole bunch of combinations. He ain't hit Floyd with one punch, right? I could see that happening, right? And Floyd is way sharper and he's way more, his shots are more straighter and all of that stuff. I know. He's more rehearsed. But Crawford's also sharp, but I just think that Bud, with the sort of awkward shots that he throws, he's gonna catch Floyd with a couple shots. Well, and I think that's the difference. Now I could see Floyd beating Crawford, but I could quicker see Crawford beating Floyd if they was to fight each other. All right, that's what I'm talking about. If they was to fight each other, because when you look at the eye test and how Crawford has been so dominant, against almost every opponent, I don't think Crawford's ever had a close fight with anybody. Floyd has had a close fight with Jose Luis Castillo. He's had a close fight with Marcos Maidana. Crawford ain't had a close fight with nobody. And you would say, oh, it was a level of opposition that Floyd was facing. It was just different. Crawford didn't have to face that level of opposition. Yeah, but the best wins of Crawford's career, they ain't never been close. Errol Spence, Yuriorkis Gamboa. I mean, he did get hurt by Gamboa in that one. And Canelo Alvarez, that's his 3 shining light spots. And even Victor Postol, right? Those 4 fights is basically his biggest fights of his career, right? And, of course, he will include going across to Scotland and beating, I forgot what his name is right now. Scottish kid. But in my opinion, those 4 fights, they weren't close. They wasn't close. He stopped. He knocked down Gamble a couple times, and he stopped it. You know, and I know Floyd's got a lot of fights. He's got Diego Corrales. He got Jose Luis Castillo. He got uh, Arturo Gatti, Chup Corley, Zab Judah, Carlos Baldomir, Oscar De La Hoya, Ricky Hatton, R.I.P. Ricky Hatton. He got he got Marcos Maidana, Juan Manuel Marquez, Shane Mosley, Miguel Cotto. You know what I'm saying? He got Manny Pacquiao. That's a hell of a lot of resume right there, and a lot of Hall of Famers. You know what I'm saying? And Terrence Crawford, he don't got all those kinds of Hall of Fame. I don't even know if Errol Spence will be a Hall of Famer. You know, we will have to watch and see how his career continues at 154. But he got a marquee name on there. He got Canelo Alvarez, and Canelo Alvarez was a top 5 pound for pound fighter. Errol Spence was a top 10 pound for pound fighter, right? He got them 2 marquee names on his resume, and the manner in which he beat Canelo and the kind of stakes that was involved, jumping up 2 weight classes, you could argue 3 weight classes to beat Canelo. That's like phenomenal thing. That's like that shit we never heard before. Not to mention, Canelo became the first super middleweight undisputed champion in the history of all boxing. So, like the historical context in which Terrence Crawford did what he did, and the fact that I had so much confidence that this guy was going to beat Canelo, I mean, it just speaks for itself. You know, Terrence Crawford is up there on the Mount Rushmore of great fighters. Now, why I say he better than Floyd is because I'm talking about on a 1-to-1, like in fights. I'm not talking about how he won his fights or none of that shit. I'm just looking at him from the eye test. And from the eye test, I think that he's better than Floyd. And I think if anybody going to beat Floyd, it would have been him. Nobody in history before that, I think, could have beaten Floyd. Meaning, when I say could have beaten, I think, of course he could get beaten. But what I mean is like the way how Floyd applies himself, the way how he prepares himself for fights. It's very hard for me to see somebody going in there in the ring, working harder than him, preparing more than him to beat him. I don't care what conditions he's under. He could have bad hands. I don't care. Floyd has shown us he don't need power to beat you. He just needs enough power to make you respect him. And he's very economical with shit and, preserve his hands. And I mean, it's very, very difficult to beat Floyd. And it's very, very difficult to beat Terrence Crawford. That's why I say nobody in this era is going to beat Terrence Crawford. Nobody. I don't see it. His dedication to the sport of boxing is on a level like Andre Ward and Floyd Mayweather. I wouldn't even say Joe Calzaghe. Joe Calzaghe also trained. He had a lot of preparation and stuff. But Joe Calzaghe got knocked down multiple times. He got back up on a win. He had a desire to win. He reminded me of Rocky Marciano in a kind of way. And he did have great boxing IQ too. But Calzaghe still was a guy that threw a lot of punches. Yeah, he was kind of exciting, but I always felt like he still played checkers compared to Ward, to Floyd, to even Roy Jones Jr. played chess. But because he was just not up to the task. He was still on a downswing, sort of like he wasn't able to beat Calzaghe. You know what I'm saying? Bernard Hopkins, for his late bloom in boxing and everything, he did good. He understands the chess game. Does he play chess as good as Ward and as good as Floyd? No. When you say Ward, Andre Ward, like people say, well, Roy Jones Jr. would beat Andre Ward. Roy Jones Jr. would show Andre Ward a couple tricks or two, but I believe Andre Ward would adapt to that, adjust to that very steadily, beat out Roy Jones Jr. ass. That's the truth. That's the truth. That's what I think. Whether Roy was in his prime or not. And that's how I feel about that. Because the race is not for the swift. It's not the hare. Roy Jones Jr. would have been the hare in this. He have his bag of tricks and he would do what he do. But when you're consistent and you start to consistently work your jab, consistency at work your game, it's kind of like Prince Hamid versus Marco Antonio Barrera, right? You got some unorthodox shit and so on, but Barrera stayed consistent and was able to beat down Prince Hamed. I feel Roy Jones Jr. And Roy knows this because when he faced Bernard Hopkins the second time, all of that cha la 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 la, all those little tricks he was doing didn't work. When he faced Tarver the second time and the third time, all those tricks didn't work. And Roy went into his bag of tricks. And if them guys could beat him, I believe Andre Ward would beat him. Hands down. Andre Ward would beat him. Because you got to have the fundamentals. As much as you great, a guy with fundamentals and he knows what he's doing, he would cook your ass. So I think Andrew Ward would beat Floyd May would beat Roy Jones Jr. with all the skills and gifting he had. I think he would get beat. He got all kinds of tricks. Don't get me wrong, but I think Andrew Ward would beat him. And I think Andrew Ward would beat Joe Kawasaki, who has never been beaten. Right? I think so. I think he had the steadiness of mind, and he come on strong later. I think he would have beaten Joe Kawasaki. All those punches, Joe Kawasaki wouldn't be throwing all those punches. He'd be hesitant to throw those punches. Why? Because he knows something to come back and sharp, quick, and he will keep on getting hit. He will keep on getting tagged. Guys like Crawford, guys like Floyd, guys like Andre Ward, they different. It's a different breed you're looking at. Right? These guys know how to win. They know how to prepare themselves to win. There's no luck and chance with these guys. So our Rocky Marciano made guys make mistakes and stuff. That was never going to happen with Floyd. Too defensively responsible. Not going to make no mistake. That would never happen with Andre Ward. Too defensively responsible. Wouldn't make those mistakes that them other fighters did. And they were great fighters, Jersey Joe Walcott, Archie Moore. They were great fighters, but they made defensive mistakes because they underestimated their opponent. They say, oh, Rocky Marciano, you're just a brawler. No, he's smart. There's method to the madness, and you in a fight. So when you fighting Rocky, you got to fight because you in a fight. You know what I'm saying? So he make you fight, like Miguel Cotto make you fight, So when I say all of these things, it's to say the point that, Crawford, Floyd, Shakur Stevenson, Andre Ward, these guys are different. They are a different kind of fighter. And they never took their opponents for granted. And early in their careers, they got the shocker of their life, facing a guy. So you don't overestimate nobody. Ward had it with when he got dropped. Crawford, he got dropped unofficially by Green Machine. Green Machine knocked him down, right? And he said Green Machine hit like he hit hard. And Green Machine, he's a bad boy. He's a bad boy. He's still around. He's still doing this thing. You don't hear about him so much in the media, but he's still doing this thing. Heavy-handed fighter. But my point anyway is this. My point is that when you get adversity early in your career, you can deal with that adversity later on. All of these guys, Andre Ward, Shakur Stevenson, Floyd Mayweather, Devin Haney, they've all gone through a certain degree of adversity. Devin Haney with the Ryan Garcia fight with the cheating. You're going through that adversity. Now you hopefully you be smarter and you fight better, right? These are a different kind of fighter. Unfortunately, Gervonta Tank Davis, he's a disappointment. He's a disappointment. He got skills, he got ability, but he don't like getting pushed. Like he said that Floyd Mayweather, was trying to get him to lose versus Jose Pedraza. Man, dude, you performed so great with the Jose Pedraza fight. Floyd put you in there not for you to lose, you dumbass. He put you in there so you could raise your game. But obviously, you didn't know what you had. And if you had let Floyd push you, you would have done even better. Instead of all these cozy, easy fights where you're not testing yourself. That's why you gotta retire from the sport, or you gotta face a Jake Paul like a clown. And I hear you trying to trash talk Terrence Crawford and his accomplishments, talk about you overhyped. Motherfucker, you overhyped. Dumbass motherfucker. You overhyped. Who you face? Give me a number one fighter you faced. He just beat your idol's ass. He just beat Canelo ass. You love Canelo so much. He just beat your fighter's ass. Overrated my ass. So, yeah. So when people say that Crawford's not better than Mayweather, resume-wise, no. In terms of fighting great fighters, no. But he never had the opportunity. And when he got the opportunity, we saw what he had. We saw what he had. And he went to very far lengths. He jumped up 2 to 3 weight classes to face Canelo at a weight class that Canelo's considered Canelo's best weight class. That's what y'all said. When Canelo went in that ring, I didn't see an old Canelo. I hear Chris Algieri critiquing, oh, he didn't do this and he didn't do that. Well, that wasn't Canelo's fault. That was what Terrence Crawford made him not do. He tried everything. He tried everything. And Crawford had an answer for it and neutralized it. That's what you saw. That's why the Canelo in the ring that you saw wasn't the Canelo you normally see, because he wasn't allowed to be the Canelo that you normally see. It's common sense. And he still did well under all of that. And even though he was frustrated, he kept his composure, looking for that opportunity. It just never came. Just never came. And he took it in stride. He accepted it, as a veteran would. And y'all say he lacked the hunger. Ninja, he just got $150 million, man. He just got $150 million. He hit the jackpot. He reached where he needed to reach. He did it all. He faced everybody. He always say, except for David Benavidez. Who the fuck is David Benavidez? I mean, who the fuck really is David Benavidez? No, seriously. Why he got to face David Benavidez? Andrade, he should have faced Andrade. But Andrade was never the top anything, except at 160 when he was a WBO champion. And Canelo was going to face Andrade. But they gave him trouble for the IBF, that he had to face Derevyanchenko. And Golden Boy fucked up that. Canelo's willing to face them. You know what I'm saying? So I'm just saying. Then he jumped up 2 weight classes, faced Sergey Kovalev. Say what you want. He knocked out Sergey Kovalev. So I mean, say what you want about that fight. Okay? And Sergey Kovalev boxed his ass off in that fight. I was very impressed with Sergey Kovalev's performance, even though he got knocked out. I was very impressed with it. So all I'm saying to you guys is that you can't be knocking Canelo. You cannot be knocking Floyd. And y'all feel y'all throwing a jab at Floyd by saying Crawford's better than Floyd. No, Crawford is better than Floyd. There's no jab here. And some of you haters are going to use this as fuel, because you say, look, WattUNeed saying that Crawford's better than Floyd. Look at that. See? You're going to use that as munition. I know you dumbass motherfuckers. I mean in terms of eye test, I mean in terms of how much people avoided Crawford, even though he was going to get a kind of payday. Sean Porter wasn't eager to face Crawford, but he eventually ended up facing Crawford. And what happened? Crawford stopped his ass. Kell Brook faced Crawford, stopped his ass. Errol Spence faced Crawford, stopped his ass. Amir Chinny Chin Khan, to get out of the fight, he said, he hit me a low blow. Stopped his ass. Okay? Crawford wasn't just beating you like Floyd would beat you. He would stop you. Didn't stop Canelo, but he had intentions on those punches. He intended to stop Canelo if he could. You understand? So this is why I said to you that, and then he would switch up on you. He would just switch up on you and catch you with that right hook. He'd go from orthodox to southpaw and catch you with that right hook. You know, and I'm not saying he would stop Floyd. I don't see that happening. Okay, I don't see that happening. I see him outpointing Floyd. If there was a fight, he would outpoint Floyd. I don't think he would stop him. Because even if he was to switch up and catch Floyd with the right hook, Floyd got a hell of a chin. Mosley couldn't do nothing to Floyd, and Floyd knows what to do when he gets hurt. So, you know, uh, boxing as a sport evolves. Anyways, let me talk about Crawford's status. Okay, do I rank Crawford above Floyd in the all-time greats? Not at present. I don't rank him above Floyd. Floyd beat like I think 10 to 12 Hall of Famers. Crawford ain't done that, right? Floyd has, you know, I mean, he's gone up 5 weight classes. He's beaten just about every the very best fighter in each of 4 of the 5 weight classes. And he did it 3 times at welterweight, right? He did it 1 time at super welterweight. The very best fighter at super welterweight was Miguel Cotto. He was the number 1 fighter at super welterweight when Floyd faced him. And then he faced Canelo, who, besides himself being the lineal champion, Canelo was the number 1 contender. Okay, so he in super welterweight he did it twice because outside of himself, Canelo was the other guy. And then at welterweight he did it 3 times, and one of those fighters was on the pound for pound list, which was Manny Pacquiao. I think Manny Pacquiao was behind Vladimir Klitschko and Floyd. He was the number 3 pound for pound fighter in the world at the time. So, I mean, you look at Floyd's resume, it's crazy. Okay. So resume wise, that's the problem. That's why Floyd is ranked ahead of Terrence Crawford at present. Now, if Terrence Crawford was to go, say, at 160, start just beating everybody in 160, collect all the belts, and become undisputed at 160, you could just forget it, because Terrence Crawford is champion at lightweight. He's champion at super lightweight. He's champion at welterweight. He's champion at super welterweight, and now he's champion at super middleweight. Now, if he was to become champion at middleweight, that would be 6 divisional champion, and he was become undisputed at middleweight. He would be a 4-time undisputed 6 divisional world champion, and crazily enough, also he'd have beaten even more champions, right? And then we really had to ask the question: is this guy better than Floyd? And then again, this dude beat Canelo 1 year older than Floyd. He beat Canelo when he almost turned in 38. He's 37 years old right now. So all that crazy shit is things to consider. Now, I don't think Terrence Crawford should continue if his body can't hold up. So if he needs to retire, he has to consider certain things to find out what else he got left in the tank, how long he can fight for at the championship level, and all these things. He has to consider all of that because he's up in age. And, you know, when you reach like 38 years old, that's kind of like your limit. Yeah, you try to push it past that. I mean, I do know that Bernard Hopkins did it until he was 40, 50, but you still want to be careful. You know what I'm saying? He's up in age. He has to think about things. But I do think he has at least 2 to 3 fights left in him. And I think 2 to 3 fights is enough to become undisputed at 160 if he wants to go for that. You know? Or if he wants to face guys at 168, defend the 168 title, or whatever he wants to do. Because right now the world is his oyster, and he's the man, period, in boxing. Ain't nobody better than him. You know, don't tell me about no Usyk. Don't tell me about no little squawk called Inoue. Don't tell me about them guys. Okay, Usyk did beat Tyson Fury, who was considered the best heavyweight in the heavyweight division, and lineal champion. So he's lineal champion and all that. And then he went on to become undisputed twice. So he's also 3-time undisputed because he was undisputed at heavyweight, and then they stripped him of a belt, and he came back and became undisputed. So he's 3-time undisputed, but in only 2 divisions. Terrence Crawford is 3-time undisputed in 3 divisions. And one of the divisions, he had to jump up 2 weight classes to become undisputed, which is just fucking crazy against arguably one of the best boxers of this era and the face of boxing. So when you talk about Terrence Crawford beating Canelo, you got to understand this is a monumental thing that happened, you know? And, you know, just the significance of that fight. That fight is so significant and so historic in so many different ways that also brings up Terrence Crawford's cachet when you have to speak about Floyd Mayweather and Terrence Crawford. Now, with respect to Floyd Mayweather, TBE, the best ever. I would say this: boxing as a sport evolves. So I would say that the best ever inspired and has brought along a series of boxers in Devin Haney's, in the Tank Davises, in the Shakur Stevensons, in the Terrence Crawfords, who are seeking to become the best ever as well. And they come from the same school of thought, and they fight in their own ways, but Floyd inspired that. And I would say one of the greatest things about a legacy is when that legacy can inspire people to become better than them and to do greater things than they did. You know, even Canelo is kind of inspired off of the school of thought of Floyd Mayweather. Like I said, he's the James Toney of boxing. The problem with Canelo was his feet. If he had the footwork, oh shit, that would have been an interesting fight with Terrence Crawford. Now that fight gets interesting, you know. But he don't have that. He didn't have the foot cardio. His hiccup is his foot cardio. He's a hell of a fighter though, and I don't mean that like Floyd Mayweather say he's a hell of a fighter, which Floyd means. But what I mean is like very few people beat Canelo, and like I said, I didn't see Canelo ever in the history of his career getting stopped by anybody. Canelo's never going to get stopped, which shows me he's a great defensive fighter. Y'all say he have a hell of a chin. Okay, but I think he rides most of the punches. I don't think that he's getting hit flush with anything, you know? So Canelo's a hell of a fighter, and he has my respect. Y'all could try and trash him. Y'all can try and down him. By the way, yes, guys with movement give him problems, but in truth, Bud, Floyd, and Bevo had to stop and fight him toe-to-toe. It's just that they have an answer for everything he had. And Erislandy Lara never stopped him for Canelo toe-to-toe. He kept on moving around the ring. That's how Canelo was able to catch up to him and start landing those body shots. Caleb Plant was trying to fight him toe-to-toe off of angles and step around and stuff. The problem with Caleb Plant was Canelo could get to his body. And once Canelo gets to your body and is consistently putting in that body work, at some point you're going to fade. And he did fade. And the problem with Caleb was he didn't know what to do when he got hurt. He popped up like a lollipop and he was staggering around the ring. He's still spinning, and Canelo finished him. You know what I'm saying? But I thought he was outboxing Canelo. The problem was, you know, the body work. So Canelo has beaten fighters who give him trouble moving around the ring. Billy Joe Saunders is a guy, again, that usually move around the ring and supposed to give you trouble. Billy Joe just didn't have confidence in his abilities and his skills. When he started to get into stride, Canelo had already chopped down that buddy boy. And so he just wrecked him. You know what I'm saying? So it's not like Canelo has not fought movers and fighters that can move around the ring and do things and beaten them. It's just that the really, really, really high level ones, the ones who've been doing it since they were a child, the ones who got the confidence and everything because they believe in their skills and their abilities, those guys who do not give Canelo anything, they don't give him anything, so he can't really work the body like he wanted. They protect their bodies well. They know how to use range and distance when they know how to stay in the pocket and counter Canelo in the pocket. Those guys are exceptional fighters. You don't see them every day. They come once in a generation. Those are the guys that beat Canelo because they are able to outmatch and outmove him, outplay him for 12 rounds. And all those fights have gone 12 rounds because ain't nobody stopping Canelo. Nobody's knocking out Canelo. The defense is just too good. You're not going to stop Canelo. If you notice, Bud had a 26% land rate on Canelo. He was missing a lot of shots on Canelo because guess what? And Canelo's missing a lot of shots on Bud too. But guess what? Canelo's a defensive fighter. You're not just going to hit him like that. Okay? So, man, Canelo has had some great wins. Triple G, I said it again. I'm going to say it again. He beat Triple G in the first fight. He beat Triple G in the second fight. And he beat Triple G in the third fight. Okay, they were tough fights, but he beat them all 3 times. Okay, um, not only did he beat Triple G, he beat Sergey Kovalev, who was boxing the brakes off of him, but he was still getting to Sergey Kovalev's body. He was wearing him down. He was catching his jab. He had some clever little things, some veteran moves he was doing, catching the jab and then punishing him with the right hand. And he was just doing a lot of really veteran shit on Sergey Kovalev. You know, people say, well, where's Canelo's jab with Terrence Crawford? Crawford was able to take away the jab multiple different ways. We can talk about that. Canelo doesn't really use it. He can lead off either hand. His right hand wasn't landing as much as he wanted it to. His left hook wasn't really landing like he wanted it to either. Crawford neutralized him. He neutralized him. And the way Crawford was moving and rolling out of the shots and pivoting out of the shots, all those things, you know, how he moved his body with the punches and stuff, all those things took away from what Canelo was trying to do with him. And again, you don't meet these fighters every day. Y'all making it sound like Terrence Crawford's a fighter. Oh, yeah, Terrence Crawford's a fighter that, yeah, man, any fighter that move around and give Canelo problems with movement, you know, they're going to beat him. So y'all make Arislan De Lara on the same level as Terrence Crawford. Fuck out of here. Arislan De Lara is a great Cuban fighter. Don't get it twisted. He knocked out Danny Garcia, you know, and nobody can just step up to the plate with, and he's like 40-something years old right now. And not just anybody steps up to the plate against Arislan De Lara and beats his ass. But Arislan De Lara is not on the same level as a Terrence Crawford. Y'all need to get that in your head. He's not on the level of a Terrence Crawford. Okay? He's, you know, Terrence Crawford is different. You know, when y'all talk about, you know, I thought Caleb Plant would have beaten him. Caleb Plant's not on the level of a Terrence Crawford or even an Arislan De Lara. I think Caleb Plant is more experienced than Arislan De Lara in boxing. You know what I mean? And he gave Canelo a good fight. He gave him a good fight. Got stopped in the 11th round. He gave him a good fight. But Canelo beat his ass because he could get to the body. Once Canelo can get to your body, Amir Khan, please don't. Amir Khan not even in a category of none of them guys. Okay? Now, Amir Khan did jump up 2 weight classes too, like Kell Brook jumped up 2 weight classes against Triple G. But Kell Brook is not in the same category as Crawford. And sure as fuck, Amir Khan ain't in the same category as I heard this disrespectful motherfucker. Who was it? Roy Jones Jr. That was bro. You was so fucking disrespectful. Amir Khan would beat Floyd Mayweather. Get the fuck out of here with that shit. You saw what Terrence Crawford did to Amir Khan, and you tell me Floyd wouldn't do that to him? Man, it would be a fucking circus. My Floyd would have beat that boy all over the ring. He'd have beat that boy all over the ring. Y'all saw what Crawford did to Amir Khan. Amir Khan, what? He make an excuse. Oh, he hit me low. Motherfucker, you don't even know if he hit you low or high. You was getting knocked out mid punch. Then you waking back up. He hit you with another punch and wake your ass up. Amir Khan, come on now, y'all. Y'all need to stop that shit. That's disrespectful, Roy. That is disrespectful. Paulie Malignaggi and Roy Jones Jr. saying Amir Khan would have given Floyd problems. For what? For 2 rounds? He give Floyd problems for 2 rounds? Maybe. That depends if Floyd starts strong. If Floyd had started anyhow, like how he started with Manny Pacquiao, Amir Khan would be knocked out. Slow ass Danny Garcia was knocking down and knocking out Amir Khan. Danny Garcia slow as fuck, y'all. He's slow as fuck. No disrespect to Danny Garcia, hit like a truck, but slow as fuck, y'all. He timed Amir Khan and knock his ass out, but Floyd can't time him. Floyd can't run him into something. Come on, man. Come on now. Y'all got disrespectful. Y'all disrespecting Floyd, man. Ain't no way in hell Terrence Crawford would disrespect Floyd like that. No way in hell, man. And in the first round, Terrence Crawford knocked this ninja down. First round, dude spin. He tried to get away from the punch, and Crawford caught him at an angle and knocked his ass down. Come on, man. Y'all need to stop it. Stop it. Just stop it. Chris Algieri be beating the fuck out of Amir Khan just because Chris Algieri's feather fisted. He didn't get the decision because he didn't knock Khan down, but he had him punch drunk all over the ring. beating his ass up. But the Floyd, you telling me Floyd is feather fisted like Chris Alge? Come on, man. Y'all need to stop that. Y'all need to stop that. Y'all need to stop it. All right? Y'all need to stop it. Y'all need to stop it. All right? If Amir Khan is allowed to do what he like to do, yeah, sure. Yeah, sure. But Floyd's never going to allow Amir Khan to do what he like to do. Come on. Y'all know Floyd, man. Come on, man. Y'all need to stop with that nonsense. All right. So anyways, y'all trying to bash Floyd because he makes so much money. What is with y'all issue with Floyd? And then Max Kellerman come with his same shit. Well, Floyd like the full package, you know. He say TBE. He not talking about his legacy and his fights and stuff. Well, what the fuck he talking about? He talking about everything. Okay, fine. But still, at the end of the day, Floyd has beaten 12 Hall of Famers. What the fuck are you talking about? 12 Hall of Famers. 12 Hall of Famers. Roy Jones Jr. never faced 12 Hall of Famers. The fuck you talking about? Now, if you want to talk about money, he can say whatever the fuck you want to say. He can emphasize on money how much he want. The facts are in the pudding. He faced 12 fucking Hall of Famers, y'all. You gotta stop that shit. Y'all need to stop that shit. Y'all need to stop attacking Floyd. All right? I said it. I think Terrence Crawford's a better fighter than Floyd. I said it. And I love Floyd. And I'm not hating on Floyd. And Floyd knows. If he had to fight Terrence Crawford, that would be a hell of a fight. Hell of a fight. But he knows Terrence Crawford will beat his ass. He know that. When he said, Floyd has never flinched. When he said Terrence Crawford is powerful, and Floyd's a guy who nobody gonna beat him, right? That's how a fighter would think. Nobody can beat me. But he know he gotta go up against Terrence. It's a totally different story. He knows it. That wouldn't be, that ain't no easy fight. Even if he get the win, that ain't gonna be no easy fight. All right? Because the mentality that Terrence has comes off of the mentality of what Floyd had. Terrence treated his body like a temple, just like how Floyd treated his body like a temple. There ain't no drugs. There ain't no cocaine. There ain't no none of that. You know, he treated his body well. See what I'm saying? See what I'm saying? I gotta get out of here. But resume-wise, Terrence can't fuck with Floyd. Period. Okay? The amount of great fighters Floyd faced, he cannot fuck with Floyd. All right? But you name all them great fighters that Floyd faced, including Manny Pacquiao. We all know Bud would have mugged Pacquiao. He'd have destroyed Pacquiao. Okay? He ain't going no 12 rounds with no Pacquiao. He'd have mugged him. And that alone should tell you something. What kind of fighter Terrence was. Right? Okay? He grew up watching these fighters. He grew up loving these fighters. That's the difference. There you go. Got it? You understand what I'm saying? Bud is a different fighter, man. Bud is a different fighter. You know what I'm saying? And all of these fighters out here today, you know, if you want a paycheck, that's what you fight Bud for now. You know, he gonna be in demand. A lot of fighters want to face him because of the paycheck, and he's old. So they saying, "Oh, we gotta hope he get old in the ring." But respect to Bud, man. Bud did some stuff. Now, with respect to y'all haters out there doing like it, you know, we could say now that Bud is better than Floyd and blah. If you even had to refer to Floyd, you know he the gold standard. The fact that you have to compare him with Floyd tell me everything I need to know. So in terms of Mount Rushmore, I still got Floyd at the top of the Mount Rushmore, but Bud's right there. You got Andre Ward on my Mount Rushmore, you know. But Bud's career is not over, so let's see what happens with his career first before we say anything else. We gotta see what happens with his career. But nobody beats Bud. Nobody beats Bud. Once he's active and he's fighting, nobody's gonna beat him. I'm just letting y'all know that. His status, he the cash cow boxing now. So when y'all bringing fights to the table, it gotta make sense, y'all. It gotta make sense. It gotta make sense, cause he Bud at least made $50 million for this fight. Next fight gotta be $100 million fight for him. $80 million fight. It gotta go up. Can't go down. So it had to be a matchup that the world wants to see. It has to be a matchup that the world wants to see. It got to be a fighter that intrigues everybody and be like, oh, yeah, I want to see that. Now, we always know Bud was supposed to face one of the Charlos. They had a little beef going on. But see, the Charlo that's there, he ain't got no belt. That's Jamal. He's a big dude. He ain't got no belt. Maybe go down to 160, see what's happening at 160. See, I think Lara's still a champion at 160. I don't know what the other champions are at 160. Maybe go down to 160, see what's down there. I don't think he'd be going up to 175. I think that's out of the question. So it's probably to try and get something at 160, maybe against somebody that people deem, a dominant champion there. Or defend his titles at 168. I think there's some guy that's supposed to face Canelo. He's a mandatory for Canelo or something like that maybe Bud will have to face. I don't know. But what I can tell you is it needs to make some sort of sense, because now these fights, Bud is that cash cow guy. We need to see now the money flow for Bud, but we need somebody who people could say, oh yeah, this guy could be a problem, right? Bud is a small 168 pounder, so anybody Bud face at 168 going to be interesting, because he's a small 168 pounder. So we see. I don't know what will happen, but maybe he goes on to try and win some more belts and become undisputed again at 160. Who knows? We'll see. But what I do know is that he is the guy, and you guys kind of dress him no more like if he's, whatever. He's the dude. If you want to get a paycheck, you have to go see Bud. If you want to talk about the best fighter in the world right now, it's Bud. If you want to talk about the face of boxing right now, it's Bud. End of story. So when you speak about Bud, you got to put some damn motherfucking respect on that man's name now. Okay? I've been saying for a while that if it's anybody that can beat Floyd, would have been Bud. Difficult style, and the dude has the power with it. Floyd, because of his bad hands, didn't have that. He had the power, but he just couldn't use it. He had to be economical with it, and that made Floyd even sharper and better as a boxer, because you're not dependent on that at any point in time. And Bud also has power, and he doesn't really depend on his power, but nonetheless, he a bad boy. I mean, he's bad. If he can get you out of there, he will get you out of there. Floyd's not like that, but Bud is like that. So, that would have been an interesting fight to see if Bud was to fight Floyd. But to be honest with you, and Bud is so humble that, he says, I'm the king of my era. Floyd's the king of his era. We would never face each other, so you would never know. That's a nice way and political way of saying it, but I think Bud would beat Floyd's ass. That's what I truly believe. I think boxing as a sport evolves, and boxers get better with time, especially if you idolize or you love certain fighters and you emulate your career after them, not necessarily your style, but your career after them, and you have much more wrinkles in them. It just makes natural sense that you would be better than them, and that's nothing wrong with that. That's actually Floyd's legacy. He's breed a set of fighters out there that admire what he did, admired how he accomplished, and they literally, in terms of the spirit of it, embodied that, and therefore they're almost unbeatable. You know, when you see them, it's like these dudes are unbeatable, and that's because of Floyd. And this is not a zero, as you could clearly see. Crawford's not trying to protect his O. Like y'all like to say, Floyd protect his O. That's bullshit. Floyd shouldn't even buy into that. How are you protecting your O when you're facing the very best of your era? How is that protecting your O? Come on, man. Y'all need to stop with that shit. All right. So, you know, Crawford got it. Shakur understands it, right? And them two guys, watch out for them. Andre Ward understood it. Again, Andre Ward idolized Floyd Mayweather. He loved Floyd Mayweather. You know what I'm saying? And therefore, he saw it was possible to be a fighter. What Floyd did was this. Let me explain to you guys. To the ones who understand. Floyd showed us that you didn't have to get your ass beat. You didn't have to stay in the sport of boxing and get your ass beat out of there. When you realize that your body can no longer handle the situation, you leave. People like to say you need to pass the torch. Well, Floyd passed the torch. He passed it to Crawford. And he never had to get beat. Crawford don't have to get beat to pass the torch, to inspire other fighters to be the next big guy out there. Hold on a second. Okay. You see what I'm saying? So Floyd revolutionized the sport of boxing. Even these big paydays that boxers are getting now is as a result of Floyd Mayweather changing the game. I didn't like what he did. Well, actually, let me rephrase that. Floyd always wanted the boxers to challenge themselves, take the hardest and toughest fights. Tank came along, Floyd pushed Tank, and Tank said, "Oh, you're pushing me too hard, you want me to lose?" And so Floyd backed off with Tank. And they managed Tank how Tank wanted to be managed. You know, and he took some soft fights. But if you do remember, all of Floyd's fighters was fighting tough fights. This guy who's now with Jake Paul, I forget what his name is right now. He was with Floyd, and Floyd was pushing him to take the tough fights. He lost some fights because of that, but he was pushing him to take it. Floyd ain't trying to get you to lose. He's trying to get you to push yourself. And if you're really that good, you will make it happen. That was what Floyd was trying to do. And he was trying to do it with Tank, and Tank protested, so Floyd backed off. You know what I'm saying? But that's how Floyd did it in his career. He was hungry. He wanted to know, he didn't just become pound for pound by doing shit. He wanted all the smoke. That's what Money made. Pretty Boy Floyd wanted all the smoke. Give me all the smoke. All the smoke. Bud never got to that point until now. So Bud has always had I want all the smoke. And nobody wanted to face Bud. I want all the smoke. That was Bud was saying. Give me that smoke. So Bud being in that Pretty Boy Floyd phase for a long time. Canelo was the same thing. Give me all the smoke. And he had Golden Boy right there. He wanted to smoke with Floyd. He didn't care. And that's admirable. Then they wanted him to face Triple G. He learned his lesson with Floyd. So he was like, no, I'm not ready for Triple G yet. I'm going to get ready first. Y'all can't do that to me. You know, I got to be ready to face Triple G first. And once he was ready, man, he boxed Triple G's ears off. First fight. Second fight, took it to him. Right in the pocket. Beat his ass up. Third fight, well, that was a later fight. He couldn't stop him, though. He couldn't stop Triple G, but he beat him up. You know what I'm saying? And all I'm saying to you is, and that was Canelo's legacy fight. That was Canelo's legacy fight. And y'all try to tarnish his accomplishment. Y'all try to diminish it because y'all all on Triple G's nuts. Triple G is fighting bums. But y'all ain't saying nothing. Oh, he being ducked. When Canelo took too long to face Triple G. Meanwhile, Canelo becoming undisputed. Going up to 175, Triple G never did that shit. Beating fighters at 175, fighting the best fighters at 175, losing to them. Meanwhile, Triple G ain't challenging himself and doing shit. But y'all want to go in on Canelo, and y'all hating on Canelo because your boy Triple G didn't get to knock his ass out. Fuck y'all. Fuck y'all. Y'all disrespect. I'm glad that Terrence Crawford got respect for Canelo. You know? Canelo fought champion after champion after champion. He proved himself. He had nothing else to prove. Floyd said it too. He said, but Ninja, you proved yourself. You ain't nothing else to prove. Canelo could say he fought the very best of this era. Can Triple G say that? Fuck no. And then y'all will make excuses for him. Oh, well, he duck and dodge him. Fuck out of here. Fuck out of here. They ain't duck and dodge nobody. Didn't duck and dodge nobody. Triple G had the opportunity to face Demetrius Andrade. He had the opportunity. He didn't do it. Well, Canelo had the opportunity to face Demetrius Andrade. He didn't do it either. But he faced Terrence Crawford. But he faced Floyd Mayweather. But he faced Miguel Cotto. But he faced Erislandy Lara. Triple G in the same weight class as Erislandy Lara. Same age. Never tried to face Erislandy Lara. Man, get the fuck out of here with that shit. And Lara be calling his ass out too. He wanted that fight. Man, fuck y'all. Fuck y'all fans. Fuck y'all fans. Just because I say Terrence Crawford better than Floyd, I only mean it in terms of the eye test and what I've seen and how people was afraid to face Terrence Crawford. That's all I mean. And the fact that he's also 3-time undisputed, jump up 2 weight classes to face a guy because nobody in his weight class really wanted to face him like that. Nobody wanted to smoke with Terrence Crawford. So he had to jump up 2 weight classes to face a guy that wanted to smoke. Get the fuck out of here, man, y'all. In terms of accomplishments, Floyd Mayweather dwarfs Terrence Crawford. But in terms of the singular accomplishments, Terrence Crawford is much better than Floyd. His accomplishments singularly superior. Okay? Because the same supposedly greatest fighter that was supposed to beat Floyd Mayweather was afraid to face Terrence Crawford. And that's before that fighter, I think, got knocked out too by Juan Marquez. Just saying. Oh, no, that's after. It's after. My bad. Right? Because Barram was afraid that Terrence Crawford put Manny Pacquiao in the dirt. He knew what Terrence Crawford brought to the table. Y'all tripping. You know what I'm saying? And no, Sugar Ray Leonard wasn't going to beat Floyd. Y'all can stop with that one. And yes, Terrence Crawford would mop the floor with Sugar Ray Leonard. No disrespect to Sugar Ray Leonard. But Terrence Crawford a different dude. And Sugar Ray was fast as fuck. But speed don't beat timing. Okay? So that's all I got for you guys. I am what you need. I'll spend enough time talking about this. An hour, 22 minutes. Oh, yeah, I see y'all showing some love. Don't forget, if you want to, you can also donate via PayPal. This stream is brought to you by L.I.V.E products. If you want some L.I.V.E products, just check me out if you're in the Trinidad and Tobago area. You see this motherfucker? Y'all can say what y'all want. That's a badass motherfucker right there. That is a badass motherfucker. And you see that other guy flexing right there? You see that guy flexing, that one Teofimo Lopez? That's food. Them is badass motherfuckers. And Teofimo, you want to know this, homie. And you go in there against Shakur, he going to beat your ass. I'm letting you know right now. He going to beat your ass. I'm just letting you know. That's a badass motherfucker right there. Shakur, he bad. Okay? And y'all say, oh, he can't punch and blah, blah, blah. Okay. We'll see. Terrence Crawford. Teofimo Lopez. You next, homie. If you sign the contract, you next. You next. You're going to know what greatness is because you would have faced it and he will beat your ass. And then you will have to say, yeah. Shakur is great. You're going to have to say that because he's going to beat your ass. I'm just letting you know now. He's going to beat you. All right. I'm out of here. Peace.